Yes, with Sanju, I've done many films and I will continue doing so. He's one of my favorite co-stars and I've always enjoyed working with him. First shot, all I had to say was, "Hi Daddy," and that was my first shot in Patthar Ke Phool. I had a little bit of experience of doing ads, though I hadn't done any acting school or acting classes or anything. I just started off the day I said yes. I think two OTT platforms today have brought global theatre and global shows.
Hi Raveena ji, I'm Monica from Bollywood Hungama. So nice to meet you, even though it's virtual.
Yes, nice to see you too. Normally, Bollywood Hungama, I always meet up with Faridun, and so it's good to see a pretty girl's face now at Bollywood Hungama as well.
I've been doing interviews for a while. I think I do a lot of international interviews, so slowly getting into the
Okay.
Bollywood space as well. So
Right, right.
first and foremost, congratulations on KGF. It's just the earth-shattering kind of response at the box office. Everywhere people are talking about it, social media, it's viral on Instagram, the reels are being made, everything else. How are
Yeah.
you taking it? So what is the kind of from the day came out today, like what is the kind of response that you are facing as well?
Well, we're just soaking it in. We're enjoying every bit of it. Yes, we knew that it's a well-made film, but we were not prepared for this kind of a hangama that it has actually created. So we are soaking it in. We're soaking it in slowly
I'm
but
someone
steadily.
who often goes to the single screen after watching a film in multiplex. You did get an opportunity to be there. I am sure it's such an overwhelming experience to be at a single screen. The kind of response you get from every dialogue to every song.
It almost feels like we're back in the 90s, because in the 90s when we would do, films like, I remember seeing this happen, this kind of euphoria happened the first time when I did a film called Dilwale. And the minute that song Ek Aisi Ladki Thi would come on screen, that was Ajay, Sunil and I, and that song would play out and the audience would go crazy and there'd be flicking coins. Then I saw that in Mohra with Tu Cheez Badi Hai Mast Mast, and then I saw that in Ziddi with this song of mine, Kale Kale Bal, the song there, which it was in the theater, and it would happen. And I mean, it was just completely amazing to watch that madness all over again. The love for cinema and the love for the big screen. I think it was just surreal completely.
Right. And it's not just that, when you come on screen, the kind of whistles were like, there were whistles. And I was like, I'm so glad that audience loves every character in such tentpole kind of movies. They are here for every character. They are here to watch how a story is told. And in these times where we are post-pandemic, we are seeing the kind of response in theaters. It's kind of like nice to see that people are actually stepping out and going and giving these movies these opportunities.
I think that's very well put, that every character was getting the kind of response that was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And mostly otherwise it's always, it's a man thing. But over here, to kind of get the audience to sway towards a female prime minister who is probably not even the protagonist and neither is the antagonist, because she's somewhere in the gray area. You don't know whether it was a tough one. Because she's the one who's after the hero, but the hero is actually the anti-hero. So does that make you the heroine, or does that make you the anti-hero yourself? Yeah. So it's quite a paradox. And then to see the audience response the way they were, I mean, it was really an amazing feeling for me once all over again.
Right. You've been in the industry for so long. I was reading somewhere that there was a time where you were doing 30, 40 films at a time. And this Raveena Tandon was like the go-to actress. But was there a time where you had signed the film, but there were times where some projects were not happening, or something like you were getting replaced at a time where like that? Did that ever happen to you?
I think that happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. I hear about it now with the younger generation, that they were signed for a movie, and by the time they went into, actually Murat was done everything and they went into shoot, and suddenly they realized that they were replaced for some reason or the other. to a certain extent, it even happens with male actors. So it's not only something that I can say, oh, it happens only to the women of the industry. So this does happen, yes. And that did happen with me, of course, for various reasons. But I think you have to have faith in yourself and believe in yourself. And I think that belief and that faith has brought me to this point in my life and my career.
Right. From the time that you debuted versus now, the times have changed as well. Every actor has an opportunity to be at a platform where they can showcase their talent now, compared to where there was a like stereotype like कि shelf life होती है इनकी और ये लोग इतना ही काम
True.
करेंगी and they'll get married. So it was like that. But now everyone has an opportunity to be at a space where they can showcase some kind of talent. And I think women in 40s are getting some of the brilliant scripts right now to see that.
True.
You've had Aranyak right now with just so well, and it was like celebrated. Now you are doing so many projects furthermore as well. Now KGF happened, and there's so many projects coming your
True.
way. What is it as an actor now to be in a space, entertainment space, and be the kind of roles that you are getting? Because you've been kind of someone who's often done commercial, you've defied things, and you've done other things as well. So I think
I'm
you follow.
very
Yeah.
thankful for this phase that is there, because earlier what used to happen, even before the 90s, I think, where I was at a time where the change was happening slowly but surely, and now we are at that point where the change has come into culmination. But earlier, I think before that, what used to happen is that by the time women would come into their prime, I mean, I believe that the 30s and the 40s is when you've evolved.
Yeah.
Within yourself, life has been an experience. You've seen life, you've seen so much. You've been there. You're learning every day. Every day is a new lesson. And by the time women came into their prime, they were asked to sit back. Whereas the actors, the heroes would just keep evolving and keep getting better and stronger. But when the women would want to get into that to do, they were meant to sit back. So I think for whatever reasons, but I think the change has happened now. And like I said, I'm very, very thankful that I'm at this time where we can, all of us at our different stages of our lives, showcase the kind of, maybe an improvement or an evolution of the talent that has happened within our lifespans as well.
Is there a character with KGF? It feels like this is the second Kannada film, and it's been dubbed in several languages. The kind of response in every language is so brilliant. What was it? What is that one thing that made you say, yeah, like now I'll sign a film like this and try something new altogether, even though you know that you may not be the lead, but at least there's a powerful character that you're playing.
Yes, so for me, the director and the role is definitely very, very important. I mean, in KGF, the kind of conviction and focus that Prashant had, there was no two ways that I would not be associated with KGF 2. He was so clear in his mind. And once you know that your director is strong enough and he knows exactly what he wants, I think it makes it easier. So yes, if a character like, something strong comes around, where again, like if I'm not the protagonist, I don't really mind that. But where I have something to do which is different from what I've done before, and it is challenging for me within myself and I get excited about it, I definitely will do it.
Going forward, it feels like obviously people were very excited when the post credits happened and it was like, okay, something is going to happen. So what do you think? Do you think your character could make an appearance if at all the third gets announced? Obviously, we sort of have an hint now.
Nobody knows. Even I don't. मुझे पता था मैं खुद बताती आपको, but nobody knows.
You've been part of so many good content all these years. Is there a particular role that you often go back to where you see that this is the role that I really loved and enjoyed?
I think the only regret I'll always have, which was not completed, was a movie called Das with Sanju and Salman. And I mean, even now, if you see the shots of that movie and if you see what all we had shot within that time span that we had on one outdoor that we did, was just on a different scale altogether. In those days, to see a movie like that unfold would have been just completely mind blowing. But it was very, very unfortunate. But well, that's the way it was, and that's something which I wish if it was. It's like an incomplete dream. It's if something like that would happen all over again, it would be just mind-blowing.
Pretty interesting to know that there's like someone as like these big names coming together and then it didn't pan out. But interestingly, you are working with Sanju sir. So it's kind of nice to see that.
Yeah, but that was like a sad incident because Mukul passed away and we couldn't complete because everything of what was the film was all in his mind. Yes, with Sanju, I've done many films and I will continue doing so. He's one of my favorite co-stars and I've always enjoyed working with him. He's a laugh riot. So, it's पता ही नहीं चलता कि हम लोग shooting कर रहे हैं कि picnic में. It's something like that.
No, I genuinely enjoyed with Yash in the film and you. I think it was such a like she knew what she wanted. She knew that he is not a hero, but he's not a villain as well. So it's like a dilemma with her, and it's such a nice thing to watch. So what was it? Because he feels like someone who's a little guarded at times. So how was he like as an actor working with him? Yash.
Well, as an actor, I think he was very helpful because all his lines were in Kannada. And for me, it was in Hindi because since I was playing the PM, which is the central character. So it wasn't that I had many Kannada dialogues, but to understand and to react to what he was saying was important for me to know what he was saying. So he was very sweet enough to translate everything of his dialogue for my reaction, so it would help me and.
Yeah.
So that I found very endearing. It was he needn't have done that, but it was so gentlemanly of him to go ahead and help all of us who came from various parts of the country.
Currently, you are in a brilliant space. You're working on digital. You're working in films. You have so many projects coming up, and also in a pretty interesting way, you're producing as well. So I just wanted to get an idea or. Like someone who had debuted, like, do you remember your first shot versus the first shot of your current film and how drastically you evolved over the years?
Oh my God, there's no comparison. First shot, all I had to say was, "Hi, Daddy." And that was my first shot in Patthar Ke Phool. And that also I took 5 takes, but not because of me, but something or the other. Focus is that all I had to say was, "Hi, Daddy." And I had a little bit of experience of doing ads. Though I hadn't done any acting school or acting classes or anything, I just started off the day. I said yes. So for me, my learning has been being in cinema. Each day, each new film has been like a new chapter, a new learning experience. So I have evolved along the way.
Were there moments where you felt like, there are always talks about like, she's getting married and everything, and eventually, because I feel like I grew up listening to a lot of these things, ki inka career, matlab she won't work or something like that, and it kind of is weird because like as women, you just feel like I'm about to turn 30, and I'm like, I'm only starting now, so like, what are you talking about? So I am just wondering, what was it like working as a leading woman and so many blockbuster films? Who's getting married at a peak, and then I'm like, why are you saying that to her? Like, what were your reactions like for these things?
Honestly, I would not react to these things because I have totally lived my life according to my rule.
Yeah.
I took a break when I wanted to, and I've been lucky enough. God has been kind to me, I have to say. I'm grateful for that ability that He's given, that He's given me the strength to also start off when I wanted to and start off well. And so that has been, me throughout. I've taken these sabbaticals and then come back and done a film in a bit, then again taken a little break, and then again, done something like that. So for me, it was all self-decided, voluntary. So I really would not pay attention to these kind of reactions. So
were there moments, or were there plenty of moments you were like, okay, this is the moment people will clap or something like that?
KGF 2?
Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting anything of this sort. I was there, I did my job, I did my scenes, and I got back. Whatever was actually of anything in mind was only in Prashant's mind. I don't think any one of us knew where this is going to go. The only person, it was a one-man vision show. It was completely in his mind what was unfolding, and he could see what he wanted. So because I had not seen the rushes of the other actors, right? So I didn't know at what level they were taking their performances to. So one didn't know until you had seen it. So um, we just went by his gut and his vision. So he took us through this. So there's not really that I can say that I knew, so to speak.
In the last couple of months, it feels like South India has just taken over, like India altogether, and global platform in general.
I think it's there are various factors which I believe that this phenomena is happening. One is content. I think the a lot of regional cinema sticks to their very deep rooted traditional values, morals. Their ethos is all around what their culture is about, and that is something that very strongly binds all of them together. And that's why at a mass level people can identify, the audiences can identify, because that's exactly what their culture is. I don't think they try to be too westernized, and that's where I feel, because they stick to what their culture is, there is a connect, there's an instant connect with the audience. I think one is that, and that this is something I've been saying from the 90s. It's not something that I'm saying now. I've been saying it since when I did my Telugu and Tamil films since then. I've been saying that it's when I used to go there used to be such a strong storyline revolving around their traditions, revolving around their culture, revolving around what their life is all about, which is such a strong connect. I think too, OTT platforms today have brought global theater and global shows, content to people's fingertips, literally. So you can watch it on your phone, you can watch everywhere. So our audiences are also getting exposed and are actually getting aware of so much different kind of cinema, different way of storytelling, that it is easier for them to now absorb. And I think that is also one very important factor. What really is that I'm excited and happy about, that I think our film industry is losing its, I find those names pretty degrading, whether it's called Lollywood, Sollywood, Pollywood, Collywood, Shollywood, Bollywood. I find that really, really, kind of demeaning to the kind of cinema and the hard work of everyone that is put into any industry. So for me, whether it's the Tamil film industry, or it's the Kannada film industry, or it's the Malayalam film industry, or it's the Mumbai film industry, or it's the Hindi film industry, for me, I feel all of us making movies for pan India is so important, and us being one united force as one industry is something that is much, much more in that exciting phase that we are at. And I think that is what we need to do away with, is these demeaning names of these satirical places that they have made, and actually be united as one strong Indian film industry and give out great content for world over.
Before I wrap up, ma'am, is there anything I did not ask you but you would like to talk about?
I
always ask people, because I feel like sometimes if we've missed out something they would like to talk about.
No, yeah, I don't have any agenda anytime. Thank you so
Thank you so much, Raveena ji. I'm absolutely honored to talk to you today. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.